Hey everyone, before I start the video, I want to show off this cool thumbnail that my friend Tony Town from TRT Reviews, Reaction and Reviews did. You know, and it just shows like some of the the original cover art for some of these cool movies that I'm reviewing. So I just go for visiting hours and stuff. And you can read some of that on there. It just goes to prove you what a great job Tony did. And I got my official thank you to Tony coming up right now. I hope you liked the video, and I hope you like this too. Take care, everybody.
Hey, Molly.
Well, I hope you like the video today. I'm here with another horror film review, and as a horror film Fatal Five Way, I'm reviewing 5 movies. And before I get started, I want to give a special, very special thank you to my friend Tony Talon, who once again knocked it out of the park, making me an awesome thumbnail for these 5 movies. He does incredible work, and and that's part of what makes my channel what it is it's not just me, it's all of you. People who help out, or people who just watch or subscribe or comment, or just watching a video and stuff like that. It really means a lot to me. And I want to thank Tony for making me another awesome thumbnail. I'm glad that him and I are friends. I sent him a couple links. Hopefully we'll see him sometime. And I found a channel called Tristan Comer that usually has mostly country videos, but it has horror films in it. And some I've never seen before. And the movies I'm going to be reviewing is 3 that I haven't seen before. And I've been wanting to see, but I've been having trouble. I wasn't able to find them. And 2 movies I've seen before, but it's been like a long time since I've seen, like 30 years, over 30 years, or over 25 years since I've seen these films. So I thought I'd decide to give them another look. And I'm going to go with the first one, and then, well, I'll tell you how I'm going to do it. The very first one I'm doing is Massacre at Central High, and each one of these movies has my own little personal history behind it. Massacre at Central High I found out about through, actually Siskel and Ebert on Sneak Preview. They had a Guilty Pleasures thing, and then Roger Ebert was talking about this film. Now, I remember I had a chance to get it at the Albion video rental place, but the packaging for the film didn't make it look that good, so I kind of skipped it. And this was a movie that got overlooked, and it's pretty much had a cult status, cult following in a somewhat a way. It was made in 1976. I don't know if people would consider this a horror film, but I'm going to consider it a horror film because it would fall into what I was judging, like suspense and horror sci-fi. And it's called Massacre at Central High, and it has Robert Carradine and Andrew Stevenson's early performances. It was made in 1976. And basically, it revolves around these groups of kids, bullies, who were incredibly mean and cruel and abusive to criminal acts to people they didn't think were fit. I mean, that people they didn't think fit in, like the nerds, or like people that might not have been perfectly physically, or like people who were poor and stuff like that. And they would beat them and abuse them. And then this one guy, Andrew Stevens, his one friend from another school came to join him. And he said, well, things are different now. We run this school. And you don't see any teachers or principals. You don't see any older people towards the end of the film. In the movie, it's just the kids running the school. And, the new kid's like, why are you doing this stuff? And he acts out against the other kids. And then something happens to him, and then he gets his revenge on the kids. I don't want to give away any more. It's an awesome film filled wall to wall with violence and stuff like that. I mean, the soundtrack might throw you off a little bit. It's definitely a 70s movie, but it's really good. It's low budget, but I think they spent some money on it, at least enough to why I'm satisfied, because some people say it's too low budget, but I mean, they had a lot of neat stuff in it, and effects and stuff. It's a great film. That's a full-on 10 out of 10. I'm really glad to find that Tristan Cohen. Maybe I should put a link to his channel on there. But mostly he has country music. You gotta look through it and find horror films. He got a few on there. He actually has Humongous, which I've seen before, and it has like 139,000 views. Wow. Now the next film, I saw the sequel first, because I never saw a sequel, even though I saw the first one like well over 30 years ago with my dad, Alligator. And then the sequel is Alligator 2: The Mutation. And I saw Alligator 2: The Mutation first because I've always wanted to see it, but I've never been able to find it. Well, I have a little story about that too. Well, anyways, with Alligator, I remember Siskel and Ebert had that on their Dogs of the Week. Just like Roger Ebert had Piranha on there. I remember my dad and I wanted to see that, and Robert Forster and Dean Jagger starred in the movie. And whereas NBC was airing stuff like Tentacles and Piranha, and ABC had, I remember they showed Grizzly, which was really good. CBS was showing Orca and Alligator, and then they showed Alligator a few times at that CBS late night, the movies. Their CBS late night movie. And basically it's a very entertaining and charming, well, kind of charming in its own, in a very dark, humorous way. You know, about a girl that, you know, that urban legend about flushing an alligator down the toilet, and then like so many years later it grows up to be a giant monster alligator. Yeah, this is really good. It's very entertaining, very well done. I really liked it. I know my dad really enjoyed it too. We've seen it a few times with me and my dad. I haven't seen it since. And I'm so glad that I came across that channel to check this movie out. You know, I saw the sequel on there first. Now let's go to the sequel, Alligator 2: The Mutation, that came out in 1991 and was given a PG-13, but even though I think that was pushing it. Alligator, I mean, and the story behind that is I always wanted to see it. And when I got out of the Army, I worked at Wendy's for like a month. I remember on lunch break, I went to the one video store I wasn't a member of, but I wanted to check it out, and they had Alligator 2: The Mutation, but I didn't rent it because I wasn't a member. I didn't feel like filling out membership and stuff like that. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't spend any money on this movie. Alligator 2 absolutely sucks. And it has a great cast. It has Joseph Bologna in it, Steve Railsback, D. Wallace Stone. Who's calling? Okay, my sister, I got a phone call. Hello? Yeah, I'm back with thing. I got that phone call, my sister. I'm back hours later to finish up my horror film Fatal 4-Way video. I wanted to recap Massacre, Central High. A definitely must see, 10 out of 10. I don't think I gave a score to Alligator from 1980 with Robert Forster. That was a very entertaining film that both my dad and I enjoyed. That's a full-on 10 out of 10. You know, it's pretty perfect. And then, you know, Louis Teague went on bigger things, like he directed Cujo, Cat's Eye, and he did Navy SEALs. I never saw Navy SEALs with Charlie Sheen, believe it or not. And before I get on to go back to Alligator 2: The Mutation, which I was starting to review when she called me up, I wanted to mention something I forgot in that Darkroom video. There was a giant mistake in that siege on the one with the toy soldiers that came to life. That one guy, it was like about Vietnam, and that one guy was wanting to know where his son came up with the Don Luke reference, and he said, maybe somebody read in a book, because he had a book about Vietnam as a little kid. And the guy opened it up, Ronnie Cox, he opened up one or two pages and went like this. It's not in the index. The index is at the end of the book, not the beginning. Big mistake on that one, but now go back to Alligator 2: The Mutation. Yeah, it was really awful, and it had a great cast, like I was saying, Joseph Bologna, D. Wallace Stone is what my sister called. Steve Railsback was in it, and also it was cool. Bill Daly was in it, but the movie is terrible. I mean, it was like trying to be like the first one, but it looked so fake and phony, and it tried to be real too cutesy with the dial, and it just was like I was rolling my eyes. I saw the whole thing, but it was just terrible. It didn't work at all. It came out like I said. The only really cool thing was the fact that Bill Daly was on there. I got to see him in something else, a serious role. He played the mayor, more serious role, because he was the one that was famous for playing Larry Hagman's buddy in I Dream of Jeannie, who always told the funny jokes and stuff. You know, it was cool seeing him in something else. Now, the next movie is, I wanted to review a Sweet 16. Now, what happened was, I said I have a personal history with each one of these movies. This one was, I remember back when I was in high school, I rented a movie called Night of the Zombies, and then got retitled The Hell of the Living Dead. It was an Italian zombie film. And after the movie, there was like a trailer for 5 movies. I only remember 4 of the movies that was on there. It was like Sweet 16, and then they had a complete theatrical trailer made for Mortuary, which is not. It looks nothing like the movie. And when I did see Brent Mortuary when I was in the Army, I liked it. When I was in Germany, I was disappointed with it because nothing like the trailer. The trailer made it look awesome. The movie itself was okay, but nowhere near as good as the trailer for it with Michael Berryman. Michael Berryman wasn't in the thing, but they did a theatrical trailer for it that looked really cool. Nothing like the movie at all. They also had thing for House on Sorority Row. Like I said, I can't remember one of them. House on Sorority Row, and then which is I didn't see till 95, 96. I remember buying that at Edinburgh Dollar General on United Home Video, and it was all right. And they remade it. They remade that movie called Sorority Row, which was very entertaining, very goofy horror comedy, which I liked that. Some people didn't. And then the last one was a classic American International movie called Little Girl Who Lives Down the Lane, and that was with Jodie Foster when she was a kid. That was awesome. That's a really good movie. And Martin Sheen, that was a really good one. Well, anyways, Sweet 16 was a slasher film, and I've been looking all over. I haven't been able to find it. And finally, on that channel, these are all movies from Tristan Comer's channel, I was able to find it. And I said, man, this is cool. I'm going to watch it. I watched it last night, and it was a very different approach to the slasher film. They said 83, and then I heard it was 81. What happened was it was set in like a desert town close to Indian reservation, and of course, when they're killing and stuff, they blame the Native Americans in there. So that was a thing, and also it focused on the sheriff and his family. The sheriff was played by Bo Swenson, and the thing focused around like this girl that just came to town. She was 15, like a week before turning 16, her Sweet 16 birthday party. Like every guy she associated with or went out with got killed. Now, it's a very different idea. And also, it was cool. Larry Storch was in it, and he had a small role, and he was the one that played an F Troop. And it was cool him saying "son of a bitch," him swearing in a movie. I like that. But it's a good movie. Very different approach to it. I liked it. I liked a different approach. You know, it's more of a quieter slasher film, but I'm finally glad I got to see it. I had a hell of a time finding it, but I finally got to see it. And I give that a 9 out of 10 for being so different. I really liked it. Now, their very final film I'm going to review is Visiting Hours. Now, I saw Visiting Hours. Now, Visiting Hours was one of the slasher films that came out in 82. And I remember it played at the Mill Creek 3. That's back when they used to have movie theaters in the Mill Creek Mall. And they right inside the mall. And they got rid of all that in 96 or 97. And it played there, and it was you'll see it on the thumbnail too. They had like it happened in the hospital, and like they had like a grid, and it was like the grid of a skull on there, which I thought was a really cool idea. And it was one of the bigger budgeted slasher films, and one of the longer ones. It was at an hour and 44 minutes, because most slasher films usually run from 80 to 90 minutes, and sometimes they run to 95 minutes if they're long ones, or sometimes they might run to 74, 75 minutes, like Slumber Party Massacre or Splatter University, you know. But this was a very, it was made in Canada, a bigger budgeted film, and Michael Ironsides was in it, and sure was William Shatner. Now, the one thing about this, there was no, I'm not giving away any spoilers, there's no who done it, as to who the killer was. You knew right away it was Michael Ironsides, and he gives a great performance in it. I mean, and you know more about him as far as like being a person that, you know, you learn a lot about the killer and stuff like that. Now, the critics were all over this movie saying how mean-spirited it was and misogynistic, and it was, but I mean, I saw it again and I was on the edge of my seat. I really liked it. It's a very great movie. William Shatner played, it's about this girl, the reporter, Linda Pearl, I think, played her. I think it was her. I may have made a mistake. And she was talking out against this one thing, and it pissed Michael Ironsides off. He went after her at home and attacked her. She ended up going to the hospital, and then he tries to follow her in the hospital. I mean, a plot similar to Halloween 2, but I mean, done a whole different way. Very entertaining film. Very good. I remember when I saw it, I had a hell of a time finding that too. However, when I was in Germany, it was at the library in Garlstedt, Germany. I remember renting it. I'm pretty sure it was. I'm pretty sure it was in the library I rented it, and I saw it with my roommate Jeff Moscone, and we both dug it. Except he was like, you know how they have like the needles in your hand and stuff. There were scenes where people were taking out the needles and stuff like that. He's like going like that because he had a fear of needles. But I mean, we were on the edge of the seat. We loved it, and like I said, Michael Ironside is a killer. I'm a big Michael Ironside's fan, and like I said, William Shatner played. That girl was like a TV news reporter who spoke on there, and he was like the news director. Similar to what my friend John Walkowitz does, being the news director. And he gave a good performance too, a great performance too, but he wasn't in it as much as Michael Ironsides was. And it was right around either before or after Wrath of Khan came out and really was really successful. It's really cool seeing stuff that the original cast Star Trek did during that time whenever Star Trek really took off. I mean, because it was famous, and then when the movies came out, it really got super famous. You know, Leonard Nimoy was directed 3 Minute Baby. Nichelle Nichols was in The Supernaturals, and Walter Koenig was in that Moontrap movie. No, it's really cool stuff. I really enjoyed it. So I definitely give Visiting Hours 10 out of 10. So there you have it for my my movie reviews, my Fatal 4-Way review of now I forgot, Massacre, Central High, Alligator from 1980, and then Alligator 2, The Mutation from 1991. Sweet 16 from, it said on video 83, and then on that one book it said 81, so that's a toss-up of which one that is. And also Visiting Hours from 1982, these classic movies. So, coming up, I want to show, I did a video of my sister doing an ad for the movie Masterminds, right? And I added music to it, so I thought maybe, since I'm editing stuff now, I'm going to show the original version with just some background noise from when she recorded it. I thought it'd be kind of different, showing two different versions of it. So I'm going to watch the weather right now in the news, and until next time, buddy, stay tuned to my sister's video, and take care of my Legion. I love you guys. Bye, everybody.